RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Devlin.
Okie dokie, guys. What's happening? This is Tara Devlin, unapologetic liberal talk on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. And don't we need that now, right? More than ever? Haven't we been saying that for years? Now more than ever? But now more than ever, it's true. I'm exhausted. I don't know about you, but I'm pissed, too. I guess that's good. It's better. Anger is, the other side of anger is depression, so I don't want to get to that point where I'm simply feeling defeated. And you know what's so sad? As I was saying that, I know there are some maggots that will be like, oh, good, I'm drinking your tears. You're sad? Good. Right? Well, you know why I'm sad? I'm sad because you, maggot, Mr. Maggot, Mr. and Mrs. Maggot, are going to be hurt by the big ugly bill and the abomination that it is. And I guess you will only see the light when the sting of the lash hits your shoulders. But you're quite willing to have the pain inflicted on anyone else but yourselves. This is the problem in the country. And the Republicans have been, they've had a lot of success dividing the country and pouring the propaganda out into our, across the fruited and the fluted plains from sea to shining sea, keeping us nice and divided and at each other's throats while the rich get richer and the working class become the more malleable working poor. And the billionaires, anytime this corrupt and illegitimate Supreme Court, they've never met a campaign finance law that they haven't wanted to weaken and that they haven't weakened, making it easier for not just billionaires of American-born billionaires, but billionaires from all over the world to corrupt our government and poor. Just think about everything that we're up against. We have dark money pouring right into our system. We have a traitor baboon squatting in and staining the White House with his bottomless corruption, who has a goddamn meme coin that is basically nothing but a bribery mill. It's just the most astonishing time to be alive, to watch these maggots take a victory lap on killing more Americans. It's absolutely heartbreaking. So yeah, you want to drink my tears, maggots? Prove me right yet again. Because if you want to drink the tears of your fellow Americans, you're not a patriot. You're not anyone who gives a shit about this country. And thank you for proving me right yet again. And thank you, John, right out of the gate with your super chat. We will press on, says John. And yeah, you're right. We will. We don't have any choice. And I believe that if the Democrats don't immediately start running on repeal and replace the big ugly bill, then they're more of a lost cause than I think they already are, frankly. I hope that, I don't understand. Well, to me it seems easy, the messaging game. It's short, it's repetitive, and you hammer it home without apology, Dems. But I guess you can't do that if you don't have the courage. You can't have the courage of your convictions if you don't have any courage or convictions, right? The reason Bernie, his message resonates is because it is consistent. And we know he's sincere. And it's true. Bernie is right. And the Republicans know it too. The Democrats have a problem when they start trying to appeal to all people, to be all things to all people, to be the party of Wall Street and the party of Main Street. That shit's got to go. there's one party of Wall Street, and they don't need two Democrats, and we need to put to rest for once and for all this tedious canard that the Republicans are the working class party. Remember, we kept hearing that from them, how they're the party of the people. Now, no, they're not the party of the people. They're not the party of the working class. They're the party of the working class bigots. That's right, bigots, not the party of the working class, working normal people who don't hate America, who are capable of functioning in a free democratic society. You see, it takes a level of maturity to function in a free democratic society, and this level of maturity, maggots just don't possess, as we see with everything that they do. They come on this channel, and they'll, what do they have to say? They never bring anything to the table. I was telling you, I posted some clip that Hernan cut for me, one of the Tarabuster clips, and it was about Trump's, what do you call it, an approval rating. We went through this the other day, how his approval rating, he said he had a 56% approval rating, and I was like, that doesn't seem real. Of course not. And we looked into it, and on the air, we went through it, the aggregate of polls. His approval rating, if you want to be generous, it's not even at 50%. If you want to average all the polls, some polls have him much lower. There is none that have him at 56% approval rating, not even the ones that favor him. But the maggots, I guess, because it had the thumbnail had a picture of their dear leader on it, and it said that democracy is swirling the drain, and they got very triggered, and they all inundated the channel with their nonsense. Oh, I thought all about protecting the very fragile eggshell ego of their dear leader. It's fascinating. You know, it's amazing how they all must protect that baboon from reality and themselves, I suppose. They're like, oh, you can't face it. People love him. Maybe the people you're hanging around with, Bobby, but he's never been a popular president. But they can't get that into their tiny brain cells. And they come on the channel, they're like, MAGA. Right, that's all they have to say, MAGA, or something about how, you're a bitch. They never have anything intelligent to say. And if they ever did, I'd probably faint. Really, I would, because I wish they would have something intelligent to say, because I'd really like to understand. I'd like to understand why, how much they have to hate themselves to vote for somebody that hates them so vehemently, so apparently. Because no one hates the maggot more than their dear leader, Traitor Trump. No one. We don't hate them. We're here trying to get them health care. We're trying to make sure that they don't needlessly die without health care in their stinking maggot poorly run red states, right? But what are they doing? Now they're cheering the fact that they passed this big beautiful this big ugly bill. Well, let's go through what the consequences of the bill are. And while I get those stats up, please become a patron at patreon.com/TaraDevlin. Thank you for joining me tonight. We're here every Friday at the Tarabuster YouTube channel and the Political Voices Substack. Let's see. And so become a patron, patreon.com/TaraDevlin. And then another show I do on Tuesdays and Thursdays with myself and the great Tara Dublin over at the Political Voices Network is the Tara Show, TNT. Jim is a moderator there too, so check it out. 2 p.m. Eastern Time with myself and Tara Dublin. And, hey, man, there's no days off in fascism, so I'm here as much as I can. Writing articles, doing videos. I'm sorry, there's something, my fucking back is killing me. I probably should have stood up. I have this desk can transfer itself, or whatever it does. Transform. It's a transformer desk into a standing desk. I probably should have stood up before I started the show, but it's too late now. So I'm probably gonna be fussing with the pillows a little bit on my back. But so yeah, become a patron, patreon.com. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for everything. Your super chats, your support, your moral support. Thank you, John, for your super chat right out of the gate, and Jim for being a moderator. Hold on, we'll be right back. So let me see, where is it? Oh, and the other thing about those maggots that attack the channel with their, maggotry, it's amazing because obviously they didn't watch the video because they're like, you're lying. You said that he didn't have a 56% approval rating, but it is 56. But you didn't show any, you didn't prove it or whatever. And of course I did. We have the receipts. We bring the receipts. I had it all laid out right in front of their tiny brains and little beautiful eyes. But yeah, it's none so blind who refuse to see, or what's that saying? But what do you expect from a bunch of dupes who vote for a con man? Really, this is a serial bankrupt, tax cheating, draft dodging, wannabe dictator con man with a fake university, a fake multi-level marketing vitamin scam, a Putin puppet, a Putin bitch, who met in secret with Vladimir Putin, remember? With no Americans present. Not even the translator was an American. Just him, Putin, and a Russian translator, and he confiscated the transcript. Now, what do you think they were talking about, maggots? They were talking about how the forgotten man and woman would be no longer forgotten. You fucking... Oh, excuse me. You poor saps. Okay, so with the big ugly bill... I got a guy next door. It is the 4th of July. I live in New York, and the Macy's fireworks, I could see them from here. And they're rather lovely, but... I also have a guy across the street that likes to make boom booms. He makes a lot of boom booms. He's very annoying. I don't know who he is. I've never seen him. I probably passed him on the street, but I think that's his thing. You guys who've watching the show for a long time know I periodically complain about him because he'll blow up fireworks all year long. Like, you'll be in your bed, and I'm talking about like at 2 o'clock in the morning and shit. It's very annoying, and the cats don't like it, so I don't like it either. It's irritating. I mean, why? I made a boom boom. It's nothing pretty about it. It's just boom. Boom. He's up there on the roof. Boom. Oh, you made a boom boom. Good for you. Okay, you got the fucking Macy's fireworks. We don't need your boom boom, honey. We got the real shit here. But anyway, now I do sound like get off my lawn, but it's irritating. You tell me it's not irritating. You're lying in bed, 2 o'clock in the morning. Boom, boom. Why are you doing it at 2 in the morning? For maximum irritation value, I suppose, right? I gotta ask. It's, what's wrong with people? What is wrong with people? Right? They're not people. All right, I'm wasting time because I'm trying to find the damn thing. I had it because I was just texting with my aunt, and I was very upset. I've been upset. I don't feel like celebrating today. Independence Day? What a joke. What a disgrace to everyone who ever fought, bled, and died for this country. That's what really gets me mad. That these horrible people, like Mike Johnson, like Traitor Trump, all of them who really do hate this country, who fundamentally loathe everything that the founders fought a revolution to create and entrust to us. You know? They overthrew an intergenerational aristocracy and a monarchy and created something that was unlike anything Western civilization had seen for thousands of years, or ever, actually, when you think about it. And that's too much for them. That's too woke. You know, e pluribus unum, the general welfare, promoting the general welfare over the welfare of the intergenerational aristocracy and monarchy, that's too woke for these freaks. And make no mistake, what they're doing is dragging us back to the system the founders overthrew, where the rich run and rule and everyone else knows their place, doesn't expect government to do anything for them. You know, if they fall on hard times, you go to the church. Now, you prove me wrong. Tell me stop me when I'm saying something that is wrong. Because we could discuss it if I'm misled, if there's something I haven't picked up on. You take their policies to their conclusion, and we are back pre-revolution times. Absolutely. If you fall on hard times, you go to the church. In Republican America, just like it was in the system the founders overthrew, church and state are intertwined. What do you think they're doing every time they whittle away at the separation of church and state? That's what they're doing. They're reestablishing the system the founders overthrew, because you can't have an intergenerational aristocracy and monarchy without a entwined and intertwined religious authority that will keep the people in their place. Like what happened in Western civilization for thousands of years. The church told the people, you can't rise up against your king. That's against God. If you were supposed to be rich, you would have been born rich. And your God, your king is your natural lord. So you do what you are here on earth to do, toil in the field, and your reward will come when you're dead. Tell me I'm wrong. That's what they're doing. That when they go after the separation of church and state, that's what they're doing. They're reestablishing that pillar of not democracy, of intergenerational aristocracy. And it's all over this big ugly bill. They have been attacking the estate tax, whittling away at it for years. And people used to understand that the estate tax is a patriotic tax that prevents the cultivation of an aristocracy. Because you can't have aristocracy. You can't have an intergenerational aristocracy and a democracy at the same time. So, what do you think the estate tax? That's why they attack it. They hate the estate tax. They hate every pillar of democracy, everything that makes democracy work, that ensures and protects democracy. They hate. These policies are put in in our system for a reason. And of course, the Republicans attack education because, the stupider you are, the more eager you are to vote Republican because you're easily played. And of course, they'll, easily, fall for the whole sky spook bullshit. Your reward will come in heaven bullshit. Everywhere they whittle away at the pillars of democracy. And that's why they have us at each other's throats, attacking the vulnerable and politically unconnected. Hold on. This is Tara Devlin. Thank you for hanging out. We're here every Friday evening at the Tarabuster YouTube channel, youtube.com/see-for-channel/Tarabuster, and the Political Voices Substack. So thank you for hanging out, guys. And please like, subscribe, all that stuff. If you want to chat, just chat. I can see you. I'll be popping back and forth between the Substack and the YouTube. We have our OG Tarabusters at the YouTube. And I'm keeping an eye on the Substack. I see you guys in there. Thank you for hanging out. If you have any questions or anything you want to talk about, just pop it in the chat. And this is what we do on Friday nights. We've been doing it for a few years now, and we've built a nice community, right? Right, Errol? Right, Jim? Right, Redfoot? The OG Tarabusters? Ed, I see you. I see Ken. It's like magic mirror in here. Hello, John. Thank you for your super chat. And Jim and Errol, and I'm just trying not to miss anyone. Mike, nice to see everybody. All right, let's go over the ugliness. I got some other things we're going to talk about tonight. Like, I wanted to talk about the Republican that was caught in the act of being himself a couple weeks ago. With other things going on, it kind of fell under the radar or by the wayside. And I'm talking about R.J. May. In case you haven't heard, he was caught in the act of being himself, a pedo. But we'll get to that in a minute after we go through the harm in the big ugly bill. And like I started the show off with, if the Democrats don't run on repeal and replace the big ugly bill, I'm gonna be a little bit mad. Because that's low-hanging fruit, Dems, as always. To me, everything that I say, well, as far as them giving the gifts to the Democrats on messaging, to message that everything we talk about on the show, that we're the real patriots here, guys. Democrats, not the Republicans. Oh, the Republicans love the branding. They love the eagles and the stars and the the red, white, and blue, these colors don't run and all that. Well, they run all the time. Republicans run, they cut and run, they leave you behind, they leave you suffering, sick, alone, in your, you're on your own, bub. They cut and run all the time. Look at Ukraine, these disgusting wastes of human DNA, what they've done to our good name all over the globe. But Democrats are the ones who are carrying the mantle of the American Revolution. We're the ones carrying that forward. That's why the Democrats, when the Republicans go after the pillars of democracy, when they go for the Department of Education, the Democrats you don't need a strongly worded email, Chuck Schumer. You just need to say, there they go again, going after the pillars of democracy. Republicans hate this country. They hate democracy, and just break it down. Simple. And repeat it. Repeat. Reclaim patriotism. I know you're not going to convince these people otherwise, because here's the other thing that it doesn't seem that the Democrats understand is that people want to vote for people they think are fighting for them. Better, what's that saying? That better to be strong and wrong than weak and right? It's so true. People believe in Bernie Sanders. He's the most trusted politician in the country on both sides. And it's true because he's sincere. You could tell. He doesn't change with the wind or whims or whichever way the political winds blow. He's had the same message for decades. And he's been right. And he does look to be fighting for people. He's got the courage of his convictions because he has convictions and he's fighting. And people trust that. Other people don't trust people who seem to be, easily malleable. But you got to have convictions to have the courage of your convictions. So here we are. And I know that this is the problem. The Democrats are swimming in the same filthy pool corroded by money and politics. And in that game, the Republicans are always going to win because everybody knows that they're not the party of the working class. That when that baboon says the forgotten man and woman will be forgotten no more, they laugh their asses off. They know what suckers they're dealing with. Suckers are born every minute. Trumpanzees are living proof. And they'll just keep slitting their throats, and the morons, the maggots, will keep voting for it, which is why I added another gift. I gave the Democrats another gift of messaging. When you say red states, you say poorly run red state. When you're on the floor of the House, where they say, oh, my good friend Nancy Mace, or where is she from again? South Carolina? Nancy Mace. Let me see. She's another one. I wanted to talk about her fucking stunt with the pajamas. I mean, what a tedious bitch. Oh, my God. Can these people be more annoying? Just do your job, bitch. We don't want to see you in pajamas. Let's see. Carolina, right? Poorly run. Just say, well, so when you say, oh, my good friend, my esteemed colleague from Carolina, you just say, my esteemed colleague, Nancy Mace, from that poorly run red state of South Carolina. Poorly run. And they are, because that's the truth. These are fuckers, and don't give me shit about decorum, because these are maggots. These maggots, and it goes back pre-maggot, when they were teabaggers, and earlier, that they can't even say the name of the Democratic Party, so don't give me that shit. And that's another thing, right, Jim? On the chat, one of our moderators? Because, these assholes can't say Democratic Party. Democrat Party. Enough. Yeah, Nancy Mace is from another poorly run red state. Let's see, list all the ways south. I should have these at the tip of my tongue by now. Is poorly run. Because we go through it all the time. And whenever one of these Republicans, pops up with their whatever bullshit, if they take over the news cycle, for showing up in pajamas. Oh, God. All you gotta do is Google it. How is South Carolina a poorly run red state? Well, let's see. The state has eighth highest poverty rate and the 8th highest rate of hunger in the nation, which will now get worse thanks to Nancy Mace. Isn't she a bitch? But don't worry. Trans people won't be able to pee. All right? They'll have to hold it till they get home. They won't be able to pee in a public restroom. So that's what matters? Is that what matters? Is it? To them? I don't know. I hope that keeps you warm at night, maggots. I hope that when Granny comes home, or your mother with dementia, when her nursing home closes because of the $1 trillion in Medicaid cuts, I hope you can take some solace in the fact that a trans person had to hold it in before they couldn't pee at the public restroom. They had to hold it in all the way home. You got what you voted for. Right? Was it worth it? I hope so. Well, we have to be there telling them, rubbing it in their fucking faces. So let's see. Here, some bullshit's going on outside. Some bullshit called fireworks on the 4th of July. Who cares? Let's see. Medicaid and ACA cuts. Here's what we're dealing with. This is what's in the bill, in case we needed a primer for. And this is when I was talking to my aunt and we were texting. She's like, a lot of people don't know this because they're not hearing it on Fox News. Of course not. They're not hearing it because Fox News, and that's another thing. When the Democrats refer to Fox News, they have to say, the propaganda, fake news, or this is the channel that makes its viewers less informed than those who watch no news at all. Or the one that was hit with the largest judgment in media history for lying to its viewers. That Fox News? Right? People aren't going to hear it. They're not going to hear it on Fox News. So you have to say it. You have to repeat it and get it into their tiny skulls until it gets to the point. They'll say, well, then we're just like them. We don't want to be just like them. Well, the American people aren't going to figure it out on their own. Just like the maggots. When you're fighting with a maggot, for example, I just saw something on Twitter, which I go on sometimes. I mean, I am on there, but mostly to grab videos and stuff, and I post the show over there, but it's a cesspool. It's beyond redemption at this point. It's a Nazi-infested cesspool. And it's amazing, though, because I am sort of like Jane Goodall in a way. I study the Trumpanzees like Jane Goodall studied apes. So I watch them with fascination. And I was looking at the response to the big ugly bill. And of course, it's hard to tell sometimes whether you're talking to an actual person or a Russian bot. And I know my partner on the Tara show, Tara Dublin, says that she could tell them right away. I'm not that good because I don't know. I think they've gotten a lot more sophisticated nowadays. I mean, there are some tells, like they don't have actual pictures of themselves and they're not following a lot of people. They're relatively new accounts. Like all of those are easy tells. But I think that the Russian disinformation bots have certainly become more sophisticated. But anyway, so I was just looking at the responses to Mike Johnson's feed, and it was pretty repugnant, to tell you the truth. They were like, MAGA. They don't have a lot to say otherwise. You know what I mean? A lot of times they're like, MAGA. And that reminds me, when I see that, I'm like, someone's brain just laid a fart, basically. That's what it is. A brain cell just passed gas. MAGA. And because, what? MAGA? Okay, lady, or whatever the fuck you are. You got anything intelligent to say? MAGA. No, it's not a cult, though. MAGA? What is, when you say that this is a $1 trillion cut to Medicare, and they go, MAGA? I mean, where do you go with that? What do you do? What can you do with someone's, bowel movement? But so, and then what I was thinking, and when I was looking at these comments, is that wow, propaganda works, and it's not that I don't know that already. It's just more validation because they're saying the things. It's almost like the feedback loop is immediate, and that's one thing that Republicans have that the Democrats haven't really mastered in any way, where they have a unified message, all of them, because they're a cult and they have nothing else to offer, so they're all just getting the talking points. And what else are you going to say? They're not actually fighting for people. They're not actually trying to make America great, whatever the fuck that means to them. They're not trying to help people in any way, shape, or form. So it's easy. It's easier for them because they're lazy, as we know. They don't read the bills. They just pass them. They just go, "Yay, MAGA! You got a signed golf tee?" boss, and I'll sell out my constituents, right? I mean, they're just fucked up. They're just sick. And so the repetition is, they got that down. But it goes to show you, because the average Joe Republican dupe is getting their talking points from these nefarious actors that are repeating it and repeating it. Like, oh, who gives a shit? No tax on tips for 3 years. Whoopee fucking doopy. There's no, in the bill, no tax on tips for 3 years, $25,000. That's the cap. And these maggots on the Nazi-infested social media platform of that used to be called Twitter, they're all as if this is some kind of wonderful windfall for the American people. Like, I mean, not everybody's living on tips, first of all. The one good thing about the cap is that we know the billionaires would use that as another way to scam the system. So I guess that's someone got a concession there, because that was originally, there was no cap on it. But you think that's going to mitigate, or that's somehow going to pay off for you when you lose your health care? You lose your SNAP benefits, your education benefits, or your job? Because all that shit's on it's not just going, it's going right now, too. Hospitals are already announcing that they are closing because of the big, ugly bill. So, okay, let's go. I keep threatening you with a good time here. I feel like I should have closed my window before I might have to get up and close the window if the boom booms get very boomy. You hear it? Can you hear it? Let me know in the chat. There's a lot of booming going on. Boom, boom. America. At least the flag is still there. I hope. The flag. Because that's all they give a shit about is a flag, not a person. Hey, don't fuck with me, man. I'm a patriot. That's why I fight these Republicans legally and peacefully. Half of them, I mean, I actually wore the uniform of this country, unlike Traitor Trump. You know, I give a shit about this country. That's why I don't want to see my fellow Americans starving and dying and stupid. It's just not what Republicans have in mind, though. So here we go. I'm trying to fix this. Why? I don't like that it does that. Okay, we'll do this. We'll do that. Trying to open up the window. Let me know if the audio's okay. Jim and everybody on the chat. All right. Big Ugly Bill. What's in the Big Ugly Bill is a sweeping budget reconciliation package with far-reaching impacts on healthcare, taxes, energy, the environment, and federal enforcement. That's what's so disgusting, too, because they have upped ICE's budget like 400-something%, making it's from like $3 trillion to $45 trillion. I'm just, I don't know if I have the exact numbers. They're in that ballpark, if I remember correctly. It goes from a low one digit number, like 2 trillion, 3 trillion, to around 45 trillion. It's disgusting. So they're pouring money into a police state. Because, when all the unrest happens because of all the economic disparity, they're going to need a ready-made Gestapo. That's right. That's how disgusting these people are. Evil. It really is evil. It's if you look up the banality of evil, you will see Hannah Arendt's photo, of course. The famous, because she's the originator of that famous quote, but you will see Mike Johnson. You'll see a picture of Mike Johnson. He is the personification of the banality of evil, if there ever were a personification of that. So, okay, healthcare and safety nets. The Medicaid and ACA cuts. The bill slashes $13.5 billion from Medicaid and the ACA, the marketplace funding, threatening health insurance for nearly 1.5 million people in New York alone. I guess, I don't know why it's focusing on New York. Did I ask it to do? I live here, but safety net hospitals, especially in rural and low-income areas, face closure and the risk of closures. Well, there's already been a few hospitals that are announcing that they're going to close. Like this one. Oh, wait, I'm in the wrong app. Southwest. See, it's not showing the whole page. Come on. Oh, well. It doesn't matter. I guess you don't need to see it. Southwest Nebraska Medical Center announces plans to close, blames uncertainty over funding. That's just one. And there are others, because I was looking it up today. Oh, boy, there's the music. Hold on a second. We'll be right back. This is Tara Devlin. Hang out. Thank you for hanging out. All right, we're back. This is Tara Devlin. Thank you for hanging out. We're here every Friday evening, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or Eastern Time, at the Tarabuster YouTube channel, youtube.com/cfachannel/Tarabuster, and the Political Voices Substack. So thank you so much, guys, for hanging out on Friday nights. I can't do it without you. We're in this together, guys. Oh, shit. And it's kind of like this sometimes, if you're new to the show. We're doing it live. I'm a one-man band doing it live. All right. The loss of health care and food assistance is expected to increase poverty, job loss, medical bankruptcies, while making it harder for vulnerable populations to access basic needs. I mean, do you believe how evil they are? It really makes me want to vomit when I'm reading this. I'm not even kidding. It gives me a sick feeling in my stomach, like I want to puke. Tax breaks for the wealthy and corporations, extension and expansion of the 2017 tax cuts that Trader Trump rammed through the first time. That added, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and guys on the chat, you can fact check me in real time, $8 trillion to the deficit. Am I misremembering that? It seems like a lot, right? But I don't think I'm wrong there. I think I'm correct. Or right. It sucks to be right, literally and figuratively. My fact checkers on the chat will. Let me see. I'll do it right now. Let me see. Tax cuts. Let's see. What is that called? The 2017, right? Tax scam. Added. I think it's $8 trillion. The boom's back outside. To the deficit. I mean, this is what is so, besides everything else, it's such an abomination. I will never forgive anyone who voted for Trader Trump again. I mean, I could barely forgive them the first time. Because a lot of people, it took them time, right? They're like, oh, I'm out. After January 6th, I saw those traitors trash the Capitol, defecate and urinate in the halls, beat cops, try to stop the peaceful transfer of power. That was good enough for George Washington, but not for Trader Trump. Right? And I'm out. It took you that long. Okay. You know, I would say all patriots, when they saw a lifelong documented con man come down an escalator and call Mexicans rapists, they tapped out then. Because anyone who's an actual patriot would have recognized that as the oldest fascist trick in the book. But okay, you made it. Welcome to the party, at least. A little better late than never. And I am right. The actual impact of the 2017 tax cuts and Jobs Act. Don't you like how they do that? Tax cuts and Jobs Act. What fucking jobs? Where are the jobs? They only came when Joe Biden got in office, because by the time the baboon left office the first time, he left 1 million corpses in his wake. He left America a land of mass graves, the worst response to COVID in all of the industrialized world. And people voted for him again. That's why I cannot forgive them. Ever. I will not forgive. I will not forget. And if they want to atone, there will have to be an atoning. I'm so sick of the corporate media checking in on them. How you doing? Did you get your... are you happy? You got what you voted for? What? You got what you voted for? I mean, that's not the question, corporate media. The question is, what's wrong with you? What is it? The sending the mob of traitors to beat cops to try to stop the peaceful transfer of power that was good enough for George Washington. That wasn't enough for you? What the fuck? Oh, Joe Biden. It was what a time. Oh, it was horrible. I mean, because you're a maggot watching Fox News? You know, that's all the time. Going up to the election, the corporate media really fucked us. You know, because everything starts with a message. And the corporate media, all they do were polls and asking maggots what they think. You know, we had to have focus groups with the maggots. Nothing ever fazed them, though. Up until and including their dear leader mimicking fellatio on a microphone. Disgraceful. But that's just one thing. You know, I mean, there were so many other things, like all of the criminality, for God's sakes. The questions shouldn't be, well, why isn't Joe Biden's great economy breaking through? Well, break it through, goddammit. If it's not breaking through, that's a failure of the corporate media. And a testament to the power of propaganda. This is what drives me crazy, because that's the gaslighting the gaslit country that we're living in. And when they write the history of this time, it'll be the new gilded age of greed-centered grifters and gaslighters. What's the other one? Greed, grifting, and gaslighting, right? It's true. So, yeah, the Jobs Act and the tax cuts to the billionaires the first time added $8 trillion to the deficit that they pretend to care so much about. Can we put it all to bed finally? The canards, these filthy fascist canards, how the Republicans give a shit about debt or deficits, how they're the fiscal responsibility party. No, they're not. They're the cruel party. They're the party that wants to kill your grandma. They want to kill you, for fuck's sake. That's their fiscal responsibility. They're like, the adults are in charge. What that means is that they don't care. You know, they don't care who they kill. That's what they're talking about. They're like, put the adults back in charge. That they're talking about, put the sociopaths in charge. Put the greed-centered sociopaths in charge, not the adults, because the adults are the Democrats who understand, who are capable of functioning in a free democratic society. a diverse society, a nation of immigrants that was birthed in the liberal age of enlightenment. That's the adults. Adults are capable of understanding that charge that the founders entrusted to us, this progressive blueprint on which to build upon and expand, not contract, not drag back to the system they overthrew. Why would they bother? Why bother overthrowing a king and an aristocracy only to re-establish one here? They only want to do that because living in a multiracial liberal democracy, nation of laws that promotes the general welfare, that works for more than just the 1%, that's just too much work for these lazy fucks. That's what it is. They don't want to work. You know, they want to say, oh, we want to teach you the dignity of work. But no one works more than the working class, for fuck's sake, and the poor. No one works harder. No one works longer hours than people who are poor, who are born on the other side of Reaganomics. There are no more lazier bunch than Traitor Trump and his ilk and maggots and perjury Traitor Green and all of them. They're looking for the loopholes. They need to buy their politicians, to corrupt government, to make sure that they don't have to work, to steal. They want to put their boot on our neck without having to worry. You know, who wants to worry about, environment or being a good citizen or making sure that you pay your workers a fair share of the profit that their labor makes possible to begin with? That's too much work. They want to just be able to squeeze the working class like hosts from which to suck profit. Just attach their greed-centered gullets on you like a lamprey and just suck and suck and suck till there's nothing left. And then discard without apology. That's what they want. They want it like it used to be for thousands of years. And make no mistake, there's nothing more progressive than overthrowing a system like that, a system of greed and aristocracy and selfishness, and replacing it with a government of by and for the people. Republicans hate that. And please stop me if I'm saying anything that's I'm wrong, because we can discuss it. I wish I was wrong. I do. It sucks to be right. I really do wish there was another party that was halfway normal. The Republican Party. I wish they were halfway normal. That they had, because the whole thing is that we have to agree on the goal. In order to have, a functioning society, we have to have a goal. You know what I mean? We all have to agree that we want an economically vibrant, upwardly mobile, working class majority. We have to agree on that. That being a billionaire isn't the pinnacle of human existence. That has to be something that we all agree on. But Republicans will never get there because they don't believe that. But if we cannot, it's like if you're taking a trip with people in a car and they all want to go in a different direction, you're not going anywhere. Right? So you have to, this is why they hate education too, because they don't want kids to learn civics. They don't want kids to learn about the system the founders fought a revolution to overthrow, and how delicate and how democracy has to be cultivated and cherished and passed on and protected from the evil maggots of the world who want to destroy it because they're lazy and selfish. Yeah, and Mondami, Robin on the chat says Mondami is our New York collective voice. Exactly. And that's why they're coming for him so hard. Trader Trump says that he will stop federal funding to New York City if Mondami is elected, because then New York is a rogue state. It's outside of the United States. Well, fucking bring it on, bitch. Because I hope he does, because that'll get Mondami elected. People will be like, fuck you, buddy. Fuck you, baboon. And the baboon you rode in on. It's true. Because, I don't know. By the time he's done, maybe they'll be voting for their own Mondami in those poorly run red states. If we wake these fuckers up. Because you know what will happen? The Republicans, they're going to go nuts on, they're really going to keep pumping up the hate. The hate against immigrants. It's all going to be trans people and trans. Everybody's, all the fucking divide and conquer tactics that they have down. I don't know. Will they ever wake up to it? I wonder. Maybe when Granny comes home with dementia. Because that's no joke, man. You guys know my father had Alzheimer's. It's not a joke. You can't care for somebody like that 24 hours a day. My sister had him at her house until she couldn't anymore, because he just got too worse. He got bad. Why can't I find the words? Why can't I talk? But yeah, and we had to find a nursing home for him, and thank God we could. And he got the care that he needed. He was treated with dignity and respect in a nursing home, and he got the round-the-clock care that he needed. Because we couldn't do it. What are you going to do? But that's what the Republicans are doing to us. That's what they want. Because what are you going to do? You have your jobs. You have your life. Everyone is hanging by a thread as it is. And they want to make your life worse. That's not freedom. And this is why I hate Republicans, and thank you everybody legally and peacefully, but thank you everyone for, supporting the show and watching the show and all that and being a part of it, because this is how we will win, by the way. That's why I do what I do. That's why this is my life. I don't have a life. This is my life on a Friday night. How many years, we've been doing this to get the word out, because that's how we're going to win. You don't win by, it starts with a conversation. We have to get the word out. We have to, in the very least, push the Democrats or those who have a larger platform to fight like hell, fight like we're telling them to fight, to message. We have the policies. We have the solutions. I'm not saying every Democrat is perfect, believe me, as you know, but I think at least they're not trying to destroy, and we have the solutions. The progressive policies that built the middle class to begin with. The middle class. This is the other thing. These fucking Republicans are so pathetic. The American middle class was created not because a billionaire felt like trickling it on us one day, but through government policy. This is shit. This is stuff the American people don't know, and especially don't know on Fox News, yet they're the largest recipients of the benefits of the New Deal. Because the average Fox News viewer, their demographic skews over age 65. So they're the boomers. These are the people that grew up with the benefits of the New Deal. And these are the people that think, well, I did it myself. I pulled myself up by my bootstraps. When, no, honey, you were the benefit of progressive policies 35% unionized workforce, a system that promoted the general welfare, the 90% top marginal tax rate. Everything started to turn to shit when Ronald Reagan skewed the tax code. That's where it all started. That's why we can trace the decline of the American working class to Reagan's doorstep, because it's true. He started fucking with the tax code, and the gap between rich and poor became richer. I mean, this shit has consequences. I mean, wider. What did I say? Richer? The gap between rich and poor became wider. Yes, they used to be called the me generation. Exactly, Ken, on the chat. Exactly. And selfish, right? Greed is good, that bullshit. Well, no, it's not. And all the while, all the things that the Republicans were doing, every campaign finance law that they whittled away with or weakened, every attack on our public education system. They played the long game, these bitches. And the Republicans, and the Democrats, I wish they would listen. Listen to me, Democrats. Okay, so tax breaks for the wealthy, extension and expansion of the 2017 tax cuts, which, of course, added $8 trillion to the deficit. The bill extends and expands tax cuts for corporations and the ultra-wealthy, which will worsen income inequality and shift the tax burden to working class and middle families even more. Right? And one of the talking points... Wait, hold on. Let me look at the time here. Hold on. This is Tara Devlin. We'll be right back. Unapologetic Liberal Talk. And thank you for hanging out, guys. And so we're on youtube.com/CFA channel/Tarabuster. Please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell to know when the show goes live. And also on the Political Voices Substack. So thank you guys for hanging out over there as well. So what was I saying? Oh yeah. So this is one of the talking points the Democrats need to run with. That income inequality is wider in the United States than it was in ancient Rome. Boom. Drop the mic. People can understand that. When you say income inequality is the gap between rich and poor is getting wider and wider, it doesn't register. It goes over people's heads. And in fact, if you talk to, and they've done this numerous times, asking people what they consider themselves. Are they in the middle class? Are they poor? Are they working poor? Which is another whole designation that shouldn't exist in a country that's functioning, right? We shouldn't have a classification called the working poor, okay? Much less poor, but the working poor? That says your system is skewed. That says your system is fucked towards, it is fucking the poor worker, the politically unconnected and powerless, because that's the only kind of worker that the Republicans want. Politically unconnected and powerless. They want a nice and easily malleable, easily exploitable, quiet, working class serf to exploit. Make no mistake, guys. You know that. But the gap between rich and poor is wider than it was in ancient Rome. But if you ask the average American, they think they're middle class. It doesn't matter that they can't miss one paycheck before they have to go take, advantage of a food bank, which we saw when Trader Trump shut down the government numerous times, the first maladministration. And it would drive me up a wall. I wanted to bang my head against the wall when I would watch the corporate meeting. They would interview people who voted for Trader Trump. Nobody, whenever they interview the maggots or the Trumpanzees, and they treat them so delicately, don't they? How come they never interview normal people? How's it working for you? No, they're always got to check in on the Trumpanzee and normalize them like, Hey, what do you think about your dear leader leaving you high and dry yet again? As if this is normal. I mean, these people, what are you talking to them about this for? You should ask them, like, how much do you hate yourself? You really think that maybe you beg him another 40 years, he's going to trickle on you? I mean, maybe he wants to trickle on you. That's another whole conversation. But, I mean, don't you have any self-respect? You're going to keep begging for a trickle? Well, I'm here to tell you that if you can't handle missing one paycheck before you have to cut your medication in half, or worry about are you going to pay your rent, or are you going to eat, then you're not middle class. That's not middle class. So don't give me that shit. Educate people. But I'm here to do that, I guess. I don't know. Or try. But you guys already know. It's the maggots they're like talking to a brick wall. And a very irritating brick wall, too, right? Aren't they irritating with all their stupid swag, made in China stupidity on them? God. Okay, yeah, the elimination of clean energy investments. Yeah, because why don't we set ourselves up for failure? Just because, see, and this actually proves my point of what I was just saying a couple of minutes ago about how they're lazy and can't make a buck unless they can rig the game in their favor. Case in point, right here. Elimination of clean energy investments. And I'm talking about the big oil bastards who, I mean, get another gig, bitch. These fuckers don't care that they're eliminating your job. You know, they're trying to AI you right out of existence. They don't care. They'll cut you back. They'll send your job overseas. It doesn't matter. But they don't want to lose their phony baloney cushy CEO job, raking in all those millions, making Mother Earth a streetwalker. That's all. They just want to rake Mother Earth until she's, I guess all used up. Right? The whole world keeps evolving without us. Clean energy is here. It's coming. Like Joe Biden said, that when he sees climate change, he sees jobs. And that's what he was trying to do. Like that solar panel factory in Perjury Trader Green's district and others in these red states that make me so mad that when I think about how many Let's Go Brandon stickers are on the cars in the parking lot of the solar panel factory in Perjury Trader Green's district that only exists because of Joe Biden. See, Republicans, they don't have the manners, the maturity, the decency to say thank you. And, of course, the Democrats aren't going to shame them into it, which they should. I'm here to shame them into it. They should be ashamed. It has to be pointed out to them. How else will they learn, right? They're not going to learn otherwise. You got to tell them, like a kid. They are like kids. They're like adolescents. They're like, I can do it myself, ma. Ooh, leave me alone. But as soon as something happens, it's sort of like all these maggots in the red states that are being hit with natural disasters, and Trader Trump is telling them to find their bootstraps. And all of their fake representatives are like, oh, we need help. Well, I thought you voted against Hurricane Sandy funding, or you wanted everybody else to find their bootstraps, but now where are yours? See, we can't live like this. We can't have a country like this. The country that the Republicans want us to have is, I got mine, sucks to be you. That's what I actually just wrote an article at the Political Voices Substack about this when it passed, when the big ugly bill passed the Senate, and that Lisa Murkowski, when all these people had to do was vote no. was do their job, right? They act like they had no choice in the matter. They act like it's like air. You know, when Chip Roy got on the floor of the House, and he was like, he was screaming at the Republicans, "You're making me vote for this horrible thing," as if he had to vote for it. You could vote no, as if it was like, you know, his lungs expanding and contracting. It's his automatic nervous system going. He has no choice in the matter. You know, "You're making me breathe in this terrible air." Well, I could see that, but you're not, in this point, you have a choice. You could vote no, just like Lisa Murkowski could have voted no. I want to show you. I will show you right now. Hold on. Oh, I'm not signed in on this one. I am not signed in. I gotta subscribe to my own thing? Well, please become a patron. But I'll put it up here. Wait a second. Wait a second. Well, anyway, I won't play the video. But she was staring down the reporter, and what she said was that, you know, if I saw that it was going this way, like a runaway train, and there's nothing I could do about it, I might as well get what I could for my constituents, which is such bullshit, because she fucked her constituents anyway. It's not like her constituents are going to be better off. They will also be worse off. So she put a Band-Aid on a bleeding artery, basically. That's what she got. And the other point is that Alaska is the most federally dependent state in America. Of all the red states, of all the poorly run red states, Alaska is the most federally dependent. For every dollar it puts into the federal treasury, it receives $2.60, and sometimes up to $3, because it fluctuates. And that's the thanks we get as the United States for helping her poorly run red state remain afloat, for helping her constituents. What she says is, you know, everybody else can go, you know, can go eat cake, really, and then they can die. Hold on, we'll be right back. All right, we're back. And for those who are new to the show, the reason we have those cues is because on Sunday, this show is rebroadcast on the Progressive Voices app, and the cues are, I have to cut the show up and give it to them in pieces so they could put commercials in. All right? So it is what it is. All right. What time is it? It's just, and the other thing is, okay, this is the point of the article I wrote was that Murkowski's Alaska carve-outs proves that the big ugly bill was always a scam. This is what really struck me, that the rest of the well, I'm not the corporate media, but the corporate media like is not saying, and to me it's so obvious. It's like, I guess it's because they don't want to appear biased, but Lisa Murkowski saying that she was a holdout, and then they gave her these carve-outs about, for her state, which says that, oh, wait, hold on. You mean you want to keep all the waste, fraud, and abuse in your system? Wait. You mean you want to keep all the illegals that are supposedly draining it all for the rest of us, making it all suck? And we went through this a couple weeks ago. There are no illegals. When we went through it, when Joni Ernst said we're all going to die. Some not soon enough, clearly. But that there are no illegals on Medicare. okay? Because Medicare and Medicaid have, it's not a self-reporting system. You have to prove your citizenship to get on the system. You have to have documents that prove you're a citizen. So, what this bitch and everybody else, all the maggots are talking about when they're like, oh, we're going to get illegals off the system. What they're talking about are people that have problems with their paperwork, and these might possibly be American citizens, or they're or they are immigrants, and they all, for some reason they don't have a proper documentation. But these are not, they're not illegals. There are no illegals on Medicare and Medicaid, just like there are no illegals voting in our elections. And, I mean, there are carve-outs, I have to say, for illegals. Like, for example, if you're an illegal and you show up at the hospital, like you got shot, stabbed, you're bleeding, the hospital, maybe not anymore, will have to give, they used to give people emergency Medicaid and treat them, because we don't want to pretend like at least we don't want to seem like complete barbarians. You're right? Except we are. So, but there are not millions of that. That's not happening to the degree that the maggots pretend it is. So, this is what we are dealing with. They're just liars. They are dividers, It's so ironic we're the United States. It should be I got mine, sucks to be you state. I'm so sick of them. I wish they would fucking secede. Would you do it already? Would you secede? Maggots, go. Just take a part of Wyoming. There's a lot of land there. And secede. You can have your baboon. You can have your nothing. You can have your, I don't know, monarchy, an intergenerational aristocracy. But I'm tired of being tyrannized by this minority death cult. And make no mistake, I don't give a shit. It is a minority death cult. That's the other thing that I'm so sick of hearing with the maggots. Oh, he won the election. The popular vote. He didn't win the popular vote, by the way. He got more votes than Harris, sadly, but he did not win 50% of the vote. More people voted against him than voted for him. More people voted for Harris and a third party, or a third party, I should say, than voted for Traitor Trump. He didn't win the popular vote. So, you can go fucking eat shit and pound sand on that bitch, too. And he won by a squeaker, 1.6% of the people that came out to vote that day. So it's not half the country. That's the other thing, half the country. Let's not kid ourselves. I wish half the country came out and voted, for fuck's sake. I wish more than half. Shame on those who sat home. There were, I think it was 8 million Democrats who stayed home. Shame on you. Oh, Genocide Joe. How's the genocide working for you now? You fucking morons. I'm so sick of it. I was getting hit with that shit, too. With, stop praising Genocide Joe. Somebody even wrote it on the Apple, what do you call it? The iTunes podcast thing for this show. Stop praising Genocide Joe. In the reviews of the show, they gave me a 1 star and said, stop praising Genocide Joe. That's not what you put a 1 star and say, not stop praising Genocide Joe. I'm sorry. That seems more like a comment to me than a review. But anyway, thank you, Robyn, for your super chat. And yes, it was all an act. It is an act. Everything is. I mean, they're not governing. They are destroying, and they're good at that. They're good at destroying. It's hard to build and easy to destroy, as we saw on September 11th. It takes seconds to tear something down. Okay, so then we get, I'm running out of time here for the for Progressive Voices. So we're not going to go through the whole thing. And then the second part of the show, it's going to seem like the show is going to end, but it's not going to end. If you're on the Progressive Voices app, you can come over to youtube.com/C for channel/Tarabuster and watch the end of the show, or listen to it on the podcast on Apple or on the Political Voices Network Substack. And we're going to go into, I think we're going to do the RJ Max story after Political Voices goes away. But yeah, rollback of clean energy. And then we have the deregulation of pay-to-play for polluters, fast-tracking dirty energy projects. You see, how much do you have to hate your country to shackle it to the past, right? To archaic energy systems. I mean, this is why I hate these maggots besides everything else. It's sort of like how could you ever get ahead if you're making us what? I mean, it's like you might as well, why not the steam engine? Why not, right? It's like they're originalists, you know? I wouldn't be surprised if they legislate us all having to shit in a diaper because they're originalists. Why ever change? We just want to go back to the way things were when how we always did it. And that's how we used to do it when we were, really, when we were young, right? We all shit in a diaper. So why ever grow? Why ever evolve? The bill introduces provisions that let fossil fuel companies pay to expedite environmental permitting, reducing oversight and public input on potentially harmful projects. Privatization of public lands. Provisions allow for the sale of millions of acres of public lands, opening them up to oil and gas development, threatening wildlife habitats and recreational areas. You see? America the Beautiful. They want to rip the Purple Mountain's majesty. They want to blow the tops off the Purple Mountain's majesty to get at the coal. They want to frack the fruited plains. They don't love this country. They really don't. On any level do they love this country. And if I'm wrong, please put it in the chat. Give me an example of how they love America. They don't love the general welfare. They don't love the United States. They don't love the nation of immigrants. That's what we are. They don't love equal protection under law. They don't love a country that is a shining city on a hill. But we will win. We will. My name is Tara Devlin. Thank you for hanging out. We have this show every Friday evening at 8:30 p.m. at the Tarabuster YouTube channel and the Political Voices Substack. And the show is rebroadcast on Sunday on the Progressive Voices app. We will win. We're on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. Check out the Tara Show every Tuesday and Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time at the Political Voices Substack and YouTube channel. There's so many goddamn plugs to do. It doesn't matter. With myself and Tara Dublin, the Tara Show every Tuesday and Thursday. All right, what else? And become a patron at patreon.com/Tara Devlin. I will see you soon. Okay, we're back. Let's get into, I don't know, did you guys hear about this RJ May guy? Have you heard about him? Anybody raise your hand in the back? I can't see everybody. Did you guys hear about him? Let me see. He's a disgusting waste of human DNA. I know. You're shocked. But, okay, the reason I wanted to bring him up Let's see. R.J. May. Okay, let's just start from the beginning. He's a vile person. This is a South Carolinian. Nancy Mace's poorly run state. R.J. May is a Republican politician from South Carolina who has represented District 88 in Lexington County. He was the leader of the Freedom Caucus because he loves freedom, you know? And when Republicans say freedom, that means the freedom to not give a shit about anybody else but themselves. You know, that's freedom to them. The freedom to misgender someone or to call somebody the N-word while taking for yourself. And if you are expected to contribute to the society that you supposedly love, right? You're waving those flags and shit. Then you cry, freedom. I'm freedom. It's too much freedom. It's too much e pluribus unum. Then, you know, it sucks to be you. So he represented District 88 in South Carolina, House of Representatives since 2020. And he was reelected in 2024. But in 2025, June, last month, in the middle of the month, actually, not too long ago, a few weeks ago, he was suspended from the House after being indicted on 10 federal counts related to possessing and distributing child sexual assault or sexual abuse material, CSAM. Well, why aren't you surprised? Well, you know, the reason I'm bringing it up, too, is, well, it's another Republican caught in the act of being themselves. They're very, you know, they're a big moralizer, big family man that hates gays, hates trans people. You know, not a trans person, though, right? He's not a trans person. I mean, he's a straight white guy. Harming kids, not yet again, not a drag queen, not a trans person. And I read the indictment. I have to tell you, if you want to make yourself sick, I would not recommend it because it is incredibly disgusting. It's beyond, because they describe the videos that he was sharing, and it's not just videos too, because he was also traveling to engage in sex. He was doing the sex tourism and having sex with underage girls in foreign countries. He's a piece of shit, R.J. May. But, you know, a big holy roller. Okay? And, well, hold on a second. The indictment alleges that May used, here's the thing, it's paging Dr. Freud time. The indictment alleges, this is what he did. He used the screen name, guess what? Joe Biden. Joe Biden, 69. Joe Biden with a few N's and 69 to exchange over 200 files involving minors on the Kik messaging app. And they say between March 30th and April 4th. But that's only because this is when they were monitoring him. So this has been going on for a long time. So, paging Dr. Freud, right? Joe Biden. It's not me. It's not the Republican doing it. It's Joe Biden. I'm not the pedo. Joe Biden is. These fucking people. How many times do I have to say it? If only they would get the help they need and stop inflicting it on the world would be a better place. Like, just get help. And he's one of these people that had to show up at work, you know, always with the tie, always, you know, very buttoned up. He had and has, I guess, he has 2 children of the same ages of the child sexual abuse material that he was trading with his fellow lowlives. So, and it's so it is so pathological, these fucking people. So he co-founded the South Carolina House Freedom Caucus, and was its very vocal vice chair. Outside the legislature, he ran a political consulting firm, and guess what, though? He said that when he was, when the FBI raided his house, what do you think he said? It was the deep state coming to get him. Those damn Democrats, that Democrat Party deep state, they were out to get him, except that his social media devices, or his phones, he had a few phones that he was engaging in this criminal activity, and he also had numerous accounts too, which was curious that he said he was hacked, a Democrat deep state hacked him. And it was so weird, though, how the Democrat deep state went from trying to trade sexual abuse materials, child sexual assault material, with a fellow lowlife on the same app, and then would switch to ordering yard signs on the same device. Ordering, Republican yard signs, and then go back to, sharing the rape of children with his fellow lowlives, probably Republicans too. And he also would text things like, "Happy Easter, Lord is risen," and then mere seconds later send the images of children being raped. Oh yeah, it must have been Hunter Biden's laptop from hell. No, it wasn't Hunter Biden's laptop from hell. It was RJ May's laptop from hell. And his phone from hell. And let's get the details. Because it's really disgusting. I read the indictment, I told you. I was sorry I did, to tell you the truth. I'm not going to read it on the show because I'll probably get shut down on the channel. It's so disgusting. The images that he was sharing, I'm talking about infants, okay? And there's no videos, of course. In the indictment, they describe every disgusting piece of filth that this fucking dirtbag was sharing with his fellow dirtbags. And it was babies, infants, toddlers, and even more disturbing. And this is why he's still in prison, because his I guess defense team, well, he has a public defender. That's another thing. The poorly run voters in the poorly run red state of South Carolina were upset that RJ May is getting a public defender because, he's a taker. So the taxpayers are paying for his defense, of course. Yeah, I'm sure he has money somewhere because he had enough money to go travel to Medellin and Colombia to engage in raping of children personally. And in fact, when he did that, he would wear a GoPro, okay? So he could videotape his memories. He was making memories. Raping children. But they were from Colombia, They were from Medellin. They weren't real. They weren't real people. They were immigrants. Possibly one day they could be immigrants. They were Latinas. They don't matter. They don't count. They're not human, right? RJ May, but he's one of these, gotta protect the children. Oh my God, let me hold on a second. Hey, hold on. He's one of these people that was like, we have an obligation to protect the children of America. You know what he was talking about? trans people. You know, you got to protect the children from the trans people. Not you, though, right? Because this is who they are. You see what I'm saying? They need help. No one has to be protected more for the children. How am I trying to say this? There's no one group of people that the children need to be protected from more than the Republican Party, for Christ's sakes. We just read the bill, the big ugly bill. Childhood, hunger, poverty, all of the how many orphans are going to be made because of these monsters? Kids' education is being cut, so Elon Musk can get more of our more money to buy politicians. Oh my God! Hold on a second. It's right out of Freud. How many times do I have to say it? You know, if only they would get help instead of inflicting it on the world, the world would be a better place. Just get the help. They are so clearly fucked up. Not at all levels, you know. Not some are sicker than others, as we say in the rooms, and that's true. But of course, somebody like R.J. May is going to be a Republican moralizer, preaching about protecting the children. It's right out of any psychology textbook. He's a co-founder of the Freedom Caucus. As I said, he frequently positioned himself as a defender of children. He was known for supporting legislation and making public statements that emphasized the need to protect children from perceived threats, particularly in the context of debates over gender identity. Why don't you protect the children from you? Oh, well, here's the irony. The judge needed to ensure that he didn't get out of prison because his own children need to be protected from him. Oh, here's a quote. "We, as legislators, have an obligation to ensure that our children have no harm done to them." As he's sending images and videos of children being gang raped. Let that sink in. Infants being raped. That's what it is. It's not just abuse material. It's child sexual rape. I'm sorry. I guess the YouTube's going to demonetize this whole video now, but oh well. It's so disgusting. And like I said, he had some fake Facebook accounts, like all of these created to engage in criminal activity, namely the rape of children. And the reason the judge, this is what's highly disturbing. Oh, he also, I'll get to the very highly disturbing thing in a second, that he received a Mobs for Liberty award in 2023. In 2023, the Mobs for Liberty named him Legislator of the Year for his Mobs for Liberty, as we know, advocates for parental rights and protecting children from those trans children, from those other the other children, protecting children from children that happen to be trans. Not that you can't teach your little brat, your little future Republican brat, that, there are different people and we are kind to everyone. Everyone gets to be part of our reindeer games. Not Republicans. They want to ostracize trans kids. They want to make sure those trans kids feel as horrible as they could feel. No compassion, no understanding, no help. No, don't worry, we got you. No, they want those trans kids to unalive themselves. That's what they want. And if they had anything to say with it, and whenever they do have anything to say about it, that's what they do. They make policies that ensure that trans kids have no options, that feel even more alone and forgotten, and not just forgotten. I guess they wish they would be forgotten by these maggots. Targeted, just like the Nazis targeted trans people. They don't have any new ideas. Their ideas have always been the same. They can't help it. And every Republican chest beats the heart of fascism. And they're just very sick people. I'm not saying all pedos are Republicans, but you just got to wonder when you get somebody like a RJ May, and they're moralizing and just ugly to the vulnerable, the misunderstood. And there's just something about that screams projection. It's either a projection or a confession. Like the closet case, the gay, you could set your clock to a closeted Republican caught in the act of being himself. Jeez Louise. Yeah, Mobs for Liberty. This recognition was based on his public stance and legislative efforts to protect children. And okay, so yeah, following the indictment, commentators and critics highlighted the contrast between May's public advocacy for children and for protecting children and and the nature of his charges, which are the most repugnant. There's nothing more repugnant than that, I think. I mean, besides, serial killers and people like that fucking Kohlberger piece of shit. You know how I feel. I'm generally against the death penalty, except for serial killers and people like RJ May. Because there's no redemption for that. There's no oopsie. There's no, psychological anything you can do to make them, their brains better, to make them into normal people. And anyone who, goes into somebody's house when they're sleeping, I don't know about that. That you don't get to, I don't know. You don't get to play in our reindeer games anymore. And RJ May, same thing. Passing around images of children being sexually assaulted and requesting them. And here's the thing. The judge kept him, his Mobs for Liberty awarded ass in jail because one of the exchanges between himself and another waste of human DNA was like this was all occurring too, not all, but some of it. And this particular exchange was occurring in the South Carolina House of Legislators, where he was, conducting the people's business. And exactly, Terry. Terry says, agree, Tara. There's no rehabilitation for that kind of sickness. Yeah, that's how I feel. I don't know. Maybe somebody could talk me out of it one day, but not that, I just think that if you get pleasure, if you think it's fun, that's your fun Saturday night, is to slip into somebody's house while they're sleeping and murder them, then you don't get to live. I don't know. That's pissing me off thinking about it. Those poor kids, and these poor kids, and the same thing for RJ May. But it's so okay. So the judge said that he's not eligible for bond release because here's the thing. So while he was in the house and conducting the people's business and checking out his yard signs and switching in between accounts, saying, Jesus is Lord, and then, hey, you got any 2-year-olds? You got any infants? So this is the kind of shit that goes on with these maggot, with these disgusting wastes of human DNA. They trade these things, I suppose, like baseball cards, right? And R.J. May asked one of his fellow demons. So the other guy was like, you got any infants? And R.J. May said, yeah. Do you have any... Okay, listen to this. Mother, father, incest with an 8 and a 6-year-old. Or something like that. I don't remember the exact ages. And this is why the judge said no contact with humans for this one. You know why? Because that's the demographic of his own family. Okay? Isn't that the sickest thing that you've heard since the maggots passed the big ugly bill? That he was having, I don't know, something's wrong with him. Whether he did that already, obviously his own kids are at risk. And if they're toddlers, let me find out the exact ages. Hold on. God forbid if he already abused them. How are we to tell? We'll just take his word. Take the word of a maggot sexual abuser of children. Oh yeah, he has 2 children under the age of 10. That's what it says. His oldest child, 7. Yeah, exactly. Jim on the chat says that's an odd comment, and that's exactly what the other waste of human DNA said to him. Like, wow, that's a little bit specific. But he was asking this other dirtbag, do you have basically a video of my family engaged in incest with our 7 and 3-year-old? Oh my God, they're so sick. And it's so right out of Sigmund Freud. Of course you're a Republican. Of course you're a horrible person that tries to inflict your manias on the world, who stands there and screams about the family and does everything in your power to hurt the vulnerable and the misunderstood. It's not trans people. It's not trans people hurting kids. It's you, RJ. Right? He's one about the drag queen story hours. Got to protect kids from drag queens reading them stories. But it's not a drag queen saying, hey, you got these disgusting CSAM videos of my family? You sick, twisted, useless, horrible person. And make no mistake, the damage that he caused on Earth will be felt and is felt, because every child that he abused in Medellin and Colombia, that child is damaged, right? That child grows up in a world of shame and hurt, and God knows the ripple effect of the harm that he's done. You see, these Republicans on every level, do they ever bring decency? Do they ever bring, I don't know, healing, understanding, relief? Right? Do they? If anybody can enlighten me, if they do, I would really love to see it, because maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm I don't know the whole story about how the Republicans helped something one time. Am I wrong? Because the way I see it is, and I've been looking, and I'm here, and I'm in the, thick of it. But I've never seen an example of a Republican bringing decency or unity or understanding or helping anything. Expanding health care. How about that? Let's just start there. Has there ever been a time in American history where a Republican has expanded the numbers of people who get health care? Ever? Somebody help me here. Has it ever happened? Has there ever been a time where a Republican has helped a family, or expanded the living wages for families? Right? Making their lives a little better. But all they do, every time they get power, and this is not, just me. We have the receipts. We know. Every time they get power, more people suffer. More people needlessly die. They increase the death rate. They increase death by despair. That's the demons that they are. It is evil. I don't know what other word to call it. Really, they're evil. It's the banality of evil. I'm trying to find this video that I wanted to play quickly. Let's see. Mikey, little Mike Johnson. It's a Mike Johnson video, yes. Johnson. It's better than a Trump video. Right? It's better than a Trumpity Trumpy. Be-do-ba-ba-ba. Your works. Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Boom, boom. Baby, you're a firework. I just made that song up. I don't know. Oh, shit. There goes Boom Boom. Let's see. Oh, how dare you. I just got to lower this a little on my headphones. It's very loud.
Many of you have asked me this.
USA. We're going to kill USA, but USA. Oh, look at them all hugging, and look at all these white people, too. All these white, pale demons.
Question in the hall over the last couple of days. But when it looked like that we might actually deliver this thing, particularly this morning, how did you know? I mean,
fuck you, evil face.
Why did you think this was possible? You guys made an audacious plan.
Audacious.
You brought the most comprehensive, complicated piece of legislation.
Oh, fuck yourself.
Arguably in the top 2 or 3 in the history of the Congress.
Why do they always sound so fake? Oh, you guys are audacious, and do I sound like a real man when I'm making these intonations and going up and down and you guys you're the audacious ones, and we said that we would never do it, but we did it. We fucked them again. We gave the rich more, and oh my God, this time we cut their lifelines by $1 trillion. Can you believe it?
With the smallest margin in U.S. history, which we had for a big chunk of the first 100 days.
Can you believe it? And I can't wait to go home and make mad, passionate love to my beard, my wife.
And you put this audacious.
Look at me. I'm a man, and it's audacious of me to say that sometimes I find the females rather attractive. I'm only a human male here, right?
This timeline, you said you were going to pass it out of the House.
Sometimes I even love women so much that I have to monitor the masturbation habits of my own son. And this is how much I love my wife. I say, son, can you take this app and make sure I don't touch my own pee-pee? Because if I do, Jesus is going to be mad. But if I kill the American people, if I rob them of health care, Jesus will welcome me with open arms into the mansions in heaven where I will hang out with Janis Joplin and Jimi Hendrix and Jerry Falwell.
By Memorial Day. I mean, some of you
are openly gay. I mean, dismiss this audacious act.
We would get it done by July 4th. We beat Memorial Day by 4th.
We beat it like I beat myself. My son, he wants to beat his own meat, but I won't let him. Even though he's a teenager, he's really pent up. Wait a minute, but I said, how much do you love Jesus? Jesus doesn't care about the little children or the old people in nursing homes. He cares if you touch your wee-wee. He knows all the mysteries of the universe. He knows every hair on your head, but he just cares if you masturbate.
4 days, and we got this one done a day early. I just want to point out. Okay?
Look at all those white devils.
We had a vision for what we wanted to do as a group. We believed
and it is a vision of hell. It's Dante's fifth circle of hell. Look at him. Is that Steve Scalise? He looks like he's aged 1,000 years. You know, you would think that coming close to death might make him a nicer person, but no, not Republicans.
Election cycle last fall. That we were going to
here
be
we
given
go.
this great
Listen.
blessing of unified government. That
Blessing.
we would have the White House and the Senate and the House aligned, in alignment, unified government. And we did not want to waste that opportunity because we understand the history that comes along with it, the opportunity that we can do for the country, and we believe
what
that
we can do to the country.
Chance. I believed in this vision. I believed in the group. I believe in America.
I believe in America. Listen to my phony intonation. I believe in America.
We had a tough 4 years before this last election.
Okay,
so
this is what pissed me off.
We were in deep trouble. And we knew that if we won, and we believed we would, we knew that if we got unified government, we'd have to quite literally fix every area of public policy.
Oh, eat my white Irish ass, bitch. We'd have to fix it all. We knew what a horror show it was. I guess they think that if they repeat that again and again, that it will be true and idiots will believe it. Right? That's it. It's just the constant repetition of propaganda. Everything was an absolute disaster under Biden. Well, it's only a disaster to demons. So maybe he's not lying. You know what I mean? Because under Joe Biden, the U.S. economy grew, not contracted as it is now, with real GDP increasing nearly 13% under Biden's term, one of the fastest recoveries in decades. This is what he says, that, everything was a disaster. Well, it's only, like I said, I guess to him, recovery, decency, increasing the number of people on health care, making sure that more people, the labor force participation was at its highest level in 2 decades with record participation among working age women. That's a disaster if you're Mike Johnson. So I guess it's a disaster. Monthly job creation averaged was on a strong pace. As we know, the economy added 16.6 million jobs. This is record job creation occurring every single month in Biden's administration. Unemployment rates were record low, including record low for Black Americans, Latino Americans, women, veterans, and workers with disability. You know, DEI. You know, I guess if you're Mike Johnson, that's a disaster. Because we got to look at it like that now. Because if they keep calling Joe Biden's economy and Joe Biden's America a disaster, it must be because they hate America. Only people who hate America want to see America fail. And they have set us up for failure with the big ugly bill. Real wages grew at the fastest rate in 50 years. That's a disaster. If you're a Republican, they hate America. Why would they want your wages to grow? They want you nice and malleable and suffering. easily exploitable. After-tax incomes were increased by nearly $4,000 each household, accounting for inflation. But now, because of the big ugly bill, that's all reversed. Wealth increased. The wealth for median American households rose by a record 37%, adjusted for inflation. Now that is a disaster if you're a goddamn filthy fascist Republican who hates America. Of course. You know, I'm so sick of these maggots. Oh, everything was horrible under Biden. Yeah, I guess it was for a Republican, because if you hate America, America was doing pretty goddamn good under Joe Biden. So that is a disaster. It's a disaster for America's enemies when America does well. So I guess it makes sense. Mike Johnson, the American Rescue Plan, provided direct payments of $1,400 to most Americans. It expanded child tax credits, and also child poverty rates hit historic lows. So, you know, Joe Biden was doing good for the American people, and that must be a disaster if you're a demon from hell. Investments in child care programs kept facilities opened. Well, no more of that. Lowered costs for families, enabling more people to go to work. You know, the work. More people to learn the dignity of work, right? You demons from hell. That's what I'm going to call these maggots from now on. They're not maggots. I mean, they're not Republicans, that's for sure. They're demons from hell. Only a demon from hell can stand up there like Mike Johnson and complain about Biden's America. Infrastructure the Infrastructure Investment, the Jobs Act that allowed, $550 billion to repair roads and bridges and expanded broadband access. That sucks if you're a demon from hell. How about significant investments in domestic manufacturing? Finally, manufacturing was happening again in the country. Right? Instead of shipping jobs overseas that like Trader Trump did the first time, and now, I mean, they're just firing people willy-nilly because they hate America, for fuck's sake. It's time to really just embrace that fact. Let's not mince words here. These were the investments that Joe Biden made in America, creating jobs, revitalizing industrial regions that were declining. But that's not that sucks if you're a demon in hell and you see that people are getting jobs and they're happier again and they can get health care and their drug prices are lower and their wages are higher. Oh, except the eggs were a little bit pricey. Well, inflation peaked in 2022 and was brought down significantly by mid-2023, stabilizing in 2024, but that was too late for the fucking baboonery. The Biden administration achieved a soft landing for the economy, avoiding a recession despite global challenges. The Federal Reserve's interest rate hikes helped tame inflation while maintaining strong employment. Stock market saw record gains. I mean, all this, what a horror show, Mike Johnson, right? Household net worth reached record highs, contributing to financial security for the first time for many Americans. But not anymore. Slippery slope. Some of these fucking people voted for MAGA tree, so okay. If only the sting of the lash fell on their shoulders. Except we know that good people are going to be hurt too, and will be hurt immediately. There are people being hurt right now. Rural hospitals are closing right now. The recovery was noted This is Joe Biden's recovery, was noted as the fastest recovery on record, with significant gains for rural communities. A lot of these poorly run red states, right, who don't have the manners, the maturity, the decency to say thank you. And I'm sick of it. So I'm here to rub it in their freaking faces and say, you know what? You have no excuse anymore. Shame on you. Small businesses surged. More people applied for small business applications and loans under Joe Biden. Oh, yeah, what a shit show, Mike Johnson. The GDP increased 12.6%, 16.6 million new jobs, lowest unemployment in 50 years, fastest in 50 years of wage growth, 37% increase in household wealth growth. This is adjusted for inflation. The child poverty rate was at historic lows. Inflation rate reduced from a peak of 9% in 2022, which was a worldwide problem, which is what the corporate media should have hammered home every goddamn day. Instead, they let these maggots whine. My eggs. How are your eggs now? I didn't see one video from, not Mike Johnson, what's his name? J.D. Vance. Remember the video where he was holding 24 eggs and saying, in Kamala Harris's America, eggs are going to be $4 a dozen. He was holding 24 eggs. Now they're $8, $12. I just went to the goddamn supermarket the other day. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, holy shit. For the same shit. A fucking pepper, $6 for little Spooky, the guinea pig. It's like, that's Trump's America. 21 million new small business applications. That's a record. I'm just so sick of these liars. But maybe they're not lying. That's how we have to look at it. They're demons from hell, and demons from hell hate when the American people aren't suffering or needlessly dying. Sick, suffering, and needlessly dying, hanging by the balls of your ass. If you're not sick and suffering or living paycheck to paycheck or wondering if you're going to pay your rent or eat or cutting your medication in half, how many more are going to die in their on the way to their third uniquely American low-paying job after they found dead in the parking lot because of cutting their diabetes medicine in half? Just wait. It's all back, baby. Maggotry is back. Just good people. Take care of yourselves. We will get through this because we have no other choice. And the Democrat, we have to start pushing them. Repeal and replace the big ugly bill. Repeal and replace the big ugly bill. This is what we got to run on. It's going to be a long 4 years. This is only 100 and something days into this shit. All right, guys. I got to go. I got to go lay down. I need unconsciousness, like Tara Jr. You see? Behind me. The producer's asleep. All right, guys. Thank you for hanging out on the 4th of July. I know it's a sad day, but let's get some rest because we're going to need it. Let's get some rest. We do everything together, so we have to say, okay, we're just going to chill out tonight. We're going to rest. Tomorrow I'm going to hit the ground running. We will. We have to. We can't stop. We just can't let the demons from hell win. Okay, so listen. We will be back I'll be here on Tuesday on the Political Voices Network. with myself and Tara Dublin for the Tara Show. We meet every Tuesday and Thursday on the Political Voices Network at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And oh yeah, Francis is back there too. Oh yeah, there he is. Which way? There's Franny. That's Francis. Tara Jr. And what else? And then any other, I do some videos and articles and such over at the Political Voices Network. So please like and subscribe and all that stuff. Become a patron if you can over at patreon.com/Tara Devlin. Keep the show going and growing. If you are on the Substack, I'm going to put the YouTube channel. Coming over and like and subscribe. The Tarabuster YouTube channel. If you can, like and subscribe and all that jazz. And vice versa. And the Substack on the YouTubes. See? I know there's a lot. It's a lot of things you got to do when you're in the political and when you're in the progressive sphere, because we don't have billionaire benefactors. We only have each other. And that says it all, because we will win. We're on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. Take care of yourself this weekend. And yeah, just if you have to unplug, meditate, as Twisted Nerves Painting says. Twisted Nerves Painting on the YouTube chat. He has his own channel. That's a great channel to watch and listen and meditate to. He has a great voice. It's very soothing. Twisted Nerves Painting makes not little models, but I guess they are little, right? But very amazing models. Very talented. And he speaks the way you speak along with as you're working. It's very Bob Ross, but it's great. It's just so soothing and it's amazing. You're very talented. So thank you for sharing your talent, and we will win. We're in this together, kid. Yeah, listen to something. So Twisted Nerves Painting says, everyone find a little time this weekend to unplug. Turn off notifications. Just do something you love to do. Read, meditate, listen to something relaxing. Take a walk. Anything to unwind and recharge. That's right. It's great advice. Because we have a lot of work to do. And we have to self-care, too. Because otherwise we're no good for anybody, especially ourselves. So don't worry. We'll get through this. And we'll do as much as we can to mitigate the damage. In the meantime, there will be a lot of damage done. But remember, we can get this country back and repeal and replace this big, ugly piece of shit bill. Written by and signed by demons from hell. All white demons from hell. All right, my friends, thank you for hanging out. I did all the plugs. You know where to find me. I appreciate all your time and all that. Because I can't do it without you. And why the hell would I want to? Trying to change the screen. Why won't it change? Something's going on. I can't... oh, there we go. I kept pushing that button. It just wouldn't change. Oh, boy. All right, guys. I gotta go. Anything good on Netflix? I gotta, anything to distract me from the fact that Republicans exist. I need to, binge watch something. All right, guys. I love you. Become a patron. Patreon.com/Tara Devlin. Thank you, Charlie, from APS Radio News, for all you do to make the world a better place. And I will see you. I guess the next time I will see you in this form will be Tuesday with myself and Tara Dublin. But you might see me on the Political Voices Substack with an article or video. In the meantime, stay safe, be good, and hopefully I'll see you Tuesday, and I will see you soon. Love you.